We have come to the end of the liturgical year, and the Church invites us to focus our attention on Jesus as King. For us today, the word King might not hold so much meaning, and many wonder as to the significance of celebrating such a feast in the context of today's society. However, the Gospel of today speaks loudly as to why the feast is perhaps even more significant than before. Jesus is not a king who wants to wield power over others. Rather, he is a king who identifies with the weak, the poor, and the hungry. It always strikes me that at the Last Judgment, we will not be asked as to how much did we pray or fast, but rather how much we have actually reached out to the poor. Whatever you did to these little ones, you did it unto me. There are many people in today's society who seek refuge in the security and privilege that their wealth gives them. Indeed, their wealth gives them access to power to dominate over the lives of others, and often they feel threatened by the mere presence of the poor and marginalized. Migrants, refugees, homeless people, and those living below the poverty line find it hard to have their voices heard. Nano Nagel, Catherine Macaulay, and Edmund Rice were wealthy individuals who lived in Ireland at a time in the early 1800s when there was great poverty and struggle for emancipation. They did not hide behind the security that their wealth and social position gave them. Rather, inspired by the words of today's Gospel and moved by the misery of so many people, they chose to identify with them. They sought to empower them by making use of the resources and talents they had to provide education and shelter. That is why they are now on the road to sainthood today. Pope Francis himself never tires to remind us of this fundamental basic gospel truth, that we cannot say we love God if we do not love our neighbor. He wanted that today's feast of Christ the King be heralded by the Day of the Poor, which he inaugurated last Sunday, so that, in his own words, throughout the world, Christian communities can become an ever greater sign of Christ's charity for the least and those most in need. Celebrating the feast of Christ the King today is a statement, saying yes to the poor, the migrants, the homeless, and all those on the periphery. Where are the Nano Nagels, Catherine Macaulays, and Edmund Rice of today?